Hello everybody, getting set up for week 2 of classes. We've got a couple scheduled for Monday and Tuesday, and I know you students are getting back to learning at home, learning from home. I know my Moorhead kids are already doing that today, so Fargo kids I believe go back to school remotely on the 1st. So welcome back to Hutch's class here. Today we're going to have a little bit of fun. As you can see by the topic, it's Monday Fun Day. Let's have a two-way conversation today about what we do. Boy, in times like this, it's great to rediscover some things that keep us happy. Hey, Dominic, thanks for joining today. Andrew, thank you. Go ahead and tell us your name, where you're watching from, how old you are. Thanks, Alex, for joining us. Hi, Andy, although I think I know who you are. Good to have all of you on board again for second week. Now today we're going to need you to do a little bit of homework. Nathan, what's up with you? Hope you're doing well. Alex, age 11 from Moorhead, good to have you on board. Same thing. Holden and Bennett from Fargo, thanks a lot for joining us today. Yes, that's right. Chase, good to see you as well. Glad that you're on board. Gavin, 8 years old from Oslo. Great. Elizabeth, 10 years old from Roseau, way up north, joining us. Yeah, so we're going to have a little discussion today. Make sure that you go ahead and press that like button, the thumbs up button. Give me a smiley face when you hear something that's really interesting to you. Also, if you have noted before over the course of the week from last week, if you joined us, from time to time there's technical difficulties with these live broadcasts, so keep that in mind. Mitchell, Craig, good to see you. Patty, TJ from Grafton, good to see you. Wendell, good afternoon. And this is just a fun time. So good to see so many getting on board. Liam, 6 from Gwinner. You're going to have some homework today. It's going to be fun homework, though. If you're down watching this, today we're going to talk about some fun things we do. I thought maybe if you would like it, I'd take you on a quick tour of the studio here. And maybe even sneak into the newsroom and say hi to a couple of people. Yeah, the fact that you're at home learning, things have changed here at the television station as well with regards to our day-to-day operations and who comes into work and who works from home. Evan and Tyson, 8 from Fargo, glad to have you on board. Chloe from Buxton, good to see you. Jade from Carrington. Oh man, I hope you guys had a good chance to get out and enjoy the weather this weekend. It was so awesome out there. And we're going to talk just a little bit about the weather. So why not have a weather class? And today, because it's fun day, we're going to do a little weather discussion. One thing I often did when I teach my meteorology class to college kids, we talk about the local weather and the current weather and how it applies to us every day. And you can see this on the news at night, but you do not get the amount of time I can put into a class like this on the newscast. So take a guess and type online for me. How many minutes do you think Hutch gets on an average show to talk about the weather? How many minutes do I have for that main weather segment? Hi, Debbie, good to have you here from Bagley. Good to have you here. And Patterson, New Jersey. Is that right? Patterson, New Jersey. Rashima, welcome, Rashima. Hope you are doing well in New Jersey. Good to have you on board. We've had folks joining us from Texas and from Arizona and from Idaho, all over the country. So it's awesome to have you on board. Thanks for saying hi. Here's a look at our weather here where we are. You're looking at North Dakota and Minnesota here, if you're not familiar with the territory. This is it. There's the Great Lakes and North and South Dakota right here on the left, Minnesota on the right, where Minneapolis is at 56. We have hit 50s in Fargo. It is 51 gorgeous degrees right now. Mobridge, South Dakota, Pierre, South Dakota, the capital of South Dakota, at 66 degrees. And look at what doesn't fit in this picture. What doesn't fit in this picture? Grand Forks. Wow. I mean, it's 34 there. It's 20 degrees warmer in Jamestown. Thief River Falls, 47, your temperature. Why so cool there? Well, last week in our weather class, we talked a lot and you learned a lot about the weather. So I'll bet some of you have ideas as to why you think Grand Forks might be colder today. why Thief River Falls is colder right now than some of the rest of the area. Do any of you have an idea? Is anybody watching from up north? Bijou, good to have you on board. Adeline, I hope I said that right. 10-minute guess for weather. That's a good guess. I've got a couple of guesses for 10 minutes. Samuel Plummer, former weather kid. Wow, good to have you on board, Samuel, and hope you're doing well. You've seen the inside of the studio, and today I'm going to take a little tour around here for everyone else, Samuel, who hasn't seen it. Elizabeth is guessing it's cooler up in Grand Forks because it's farther up north. Now, that is a fantastic guess. And Landon is guessing that Hutch gets 5 minutes for weather. Landon, that's really, really close. On average, for the nightly news, when you see Hutch on TV, I get about 3 minutes or 3.5 minutes to talk about the weather. So it's pretty short. So we have to really push through the information so that our entire viewing area, which you see on this map here, gets an idea of what their weather would be. Debbie Armstrong is guessing that there might be more snow on the ground, and that is absolutely true. There's more snow on the ground in the Northern Valley. See the blue colors here? I'm just going to use my finger to point. The blue colors, those colors are assigned temperature. So on maps, when meteorologists make maps with a lot of numbers on them, it's really a good idea for us to assign colors to numbers so we can pick out cold versus warm real easy. So I'm going to zoom out. You're going to see a lot of numbers on the national map here, but you can see where it's blue, it's where we have the cool air. Where it's purple, that's just ridiculous cold. Still really cold in central Canada. But in New Orleans, it's 81. Miami, 87. So where we have these oranges and reddish hues, even the yellows, that's starting to get warm, spring-like temperatures, maybe even summer-like in the south. Okay, the blue colors, when Hutch can just pin his eyes to the blue and we can pick out on the map where the cold colors are. Now, we had a guess that said Grand Forks has more snow on the ground. That's part of it. But another part of our day has been visibility. We've had fog around. Now, early in the morning, we had it here in the Fargo area. If you were up, we had zero visibility. It was foggy. You couldn't see across the street in some places in town. That fog lingered, as you see here. I'm looping this graphic through time. And throughout the last 5 hours, okay, the fog, which was throughout the Red River Valley here from Fargo all the way up through Grand Forks, has just cleared Grand Forks. So Grand Forks, good news for you is that your temperatures likely are going to start going up pretty quickly now that that fog has evaporated, okay? Some people say the fog has lifted. It doesn't always truly lift. It evaporates from the ground up, kind of a unique thing. Rich says it just hit 61 in Perham. That is unbelievable. Wow. And he has a weather station too. So Rich is a weather enthusiast and keeps his eyes on the weather all the time. Thanks for your input, Rich. Now, let's take a look at the national picture real quick. In our weather discussion, we have clear skies over the upper Midwest here and the northern plains where we are. A few clouds and some fog in northern Minnesota and northern Wisconsin, and some rain moving through Texas and heavy rain in Oklahoma today. Look at this. Colorado, Denver, you've got rain on the plains to the east, and in the mountains it's snowing. Okay? Weathermaker making its way there. And another little spiral shape of clouds up here in the Pacific Northwest and in the mountains of the Pacific Northwest. And the Bitterroots of Montana, we've got some snow. Okay, the Cascades, we've got some snow, and then in through Portland and the elevated terrain there in places like Oregon and Washington State, we're seeing some snow showers. Snow in Maine right now as well. So great to take a quick peek at the weather. Let's zoom in on our area, and we can still see there's probably some remnant fog and low clouds across the northern part of our viewing area in Thief River Falls. This is visible satellite imagery, and I think this is super cool. Elizabeth makes her own weather reports. That's great, Elizabeth. This isn't working. I can't hear you. Are you still talking? Ooh, I hope you can all hear me. Let me know if more of you cannot hear me. I'm doing this from the studio with my cell phone, and I have had, from time to time, some issues. Gavin says his dad says fog will help melt the snow. Is that true? And Gavin, your dad is right. Fog, when we have clouds, low clouds around, and fog. Okay, check the volume on Hutch's page. Okay, so Thanks for the help with the volume here. I'm kind of checking out to see if folks are having issues with what's going on there. But yeah, you can have more melting with fog because clouds actually help radiate energy toward the ground and keep us warmer at night. So our temperatures overnight will stay above freezing, and fog can be a very efficient melter of snowpack. That's right. Your dad is right, Gavin. Richard, thanks. I'm glad you're having no issues. Thanks for the report. I'm seeing things look pretty normal on my screen here, but I obviously can't turn the volume up or we would get a lot of feedback. Miranda Mork, I'm glad that you love this. Volume's good there for the ancient, the heavy metal angel Forrest W guy. Good to have you on board again, and I'm glad it's working fine. Patterson, New Jersey. Rashima says it's 52 degrees there. Let's talk a little bit here about Fargo, North Dakota and Lakes Country, and Hutch's going to get his pointer out. Now, down here, you see the dark colors? We have the earth darkened where it's dark, there's no snow on the ground. Now, you can see the clouds moving from Fargo this morning up through Grand Forks. That was our band of fog and low clouds from this morning, okay? That cleared. Notice that the ground is getting darker near Fargo. We are melting most of our snow here. Now, there's still a considerable amount of snowpack when we get just north of Fargo. Northern Cass, it's white on the ground. Norman County, Ada, it's white on the ground. And look at this, Trail County for Mayville, Findlay, you folks along Highway 200, snow on the ground. And look at this, in western Polk County, the ground is very white in your area as we go through into Grand Forks County. So the person who answered that it's cooler because there's snow on the ground is absolutely correct. But also we blocked a lot of the incoming sunshine this morning in Grand Forks because of the fog. So that is a very interesting topic. Now, in Minnesota, you can see these big circles up here. Who knows what those big circles are north of Bemidji? 43 degrees Fahrenheit in Roseau. Thanks for the report, Elizabeth. That's awesome. I'm glad that you guys are along and joining with and giving me feedback and thumbs up. I love thumbs up and smiley faces. Okay. We also see a spot of white up here near Brainerd. Do you guys know what that is? Good guess, Waylon. Waylon is guessing trees. The bright white here. This big bright white area out here. It's ice on the lake, Elizabeth. That is absolutely right. These are the upper and lower Red Lakes in Beltrami County. Okay. So the Red Lake River runs out of those and in towards you folks out to the east and dumps into the Red River. But that lake is covered with ice. Right here, we see Walker, okay? That lake up there. And then this is Mille Lacs over here by Brainerd. So some of the larger lakes in our area really show up bright white in this time. Now, the ground where there's trees looks like there's less snow on the ground. It's not as bright white, but there are a lot of forest. There's a lot of pine trees here hiding that snow. So the visible satellite imagery looks like there's less snow here than there probably is up by International Falls. It shows less snow than there probably is on the ground up by Bemidji. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, that's right. That's ice, and the dark spots may be trees. Waylon, you are absolutely right. So kind of fun stuff. Now, Lake Sakakawea, right over to the west, we'll look at that. But here's Devil's Lake, and you can actually see amongst the county border here between Benson and Ramsey County, the ice that's still on Devil's Lake there as well. It really only shows up the best on big lakes, but we can zoom down in to Lakes Country here near Detroit Lakes, and we can see the lake ice on those lakes. Now, there's big Ottertail Lake, okay? You can see that north of Battle Lake there. And that one is all iced over. But when we go down to southern Minnesota, okay, where it's a little warmer and things are warming up, we don't see as many solid white circles down there. And in fact, some of these lakes are likely seeing ice out, okay? So, kind of fun to keep our eyes on things as we go through our spring melt here. Spring melting in the Red River Valley often means flooding. Hutch wants to give you kids an outlook on flooding. All of these green areas are flood warnings, and the river is flooding right now. But that doesn't mean water's going to come rushing into your basement or your home in Fargo necessarily. But some of our rural neighbors just south of Fargo or just north of Fargo will have the water in the ditches and the river valley come up pretty high. Now, the good news about the flood potential this year is the simple fact that we're not expecting the levels that we've seen in previous years. Some years, even last year, we got to around 35 feet in Fargo. And for the city of Fargo, there's a lot of protection here for 35 feet. It's not as bad, but in surrounding communities, it gets really bad. So I expect some rural problems in our counties here in the Southern Valley, and our rivers will be cresting, reaching a peak this week. So we'll be watching it closely, and you kind of keep your eyes on things there. I don't think it's going to be as bad as previous years, and we all need to watch for big-time rainstorms. We don't want a big 2 or 3 inch rain here over a wide area of our area. That wouldn't be very good. So let's have some fun, shall we? While we've been cooped up in our homes, practicing social distancing from our neighbors and coworkers, we've spent a lot of time at home. What do you like to do with your spare time? Hobbies are really important because they can help us through tough times or when we're alone, and we have something that we really enjoy doing. And Hutch has a lot of hobbies. I'm kind of what I like to call a jack of all trades and a master of none other than weather. I like my weather. I talk a lot about the weather, okay? But I get involved in all kinds of fun hobbies. I want you to take a minute and on the keyboard below, go ahead and comment with what your hobby is. And when we're all done here, take a picture of yourself, okay, doing your hobby. Maybe it's woodwork. Maybe it's playing the keyboards. Maybe it's drawing. Maybe you've drawn some cool art. Maybe it's Legos and you like building things with your hands. Whatever your hobby is, take a picture of you doing it and either share it here on this. This will be shared on Facebook, so you can go back to the Valley News Live Facebook page and find the class. You can go to Hutch's Facebook page, Hutch VNL. You can find the class, post pictures of you doing your hobby. Playing football. All right. Chase likes to play football. I love playing football. I love going outside, throwing balls. I'm a really bad golfer. I don't do that very much. So we'll get to Hutch's hobby here. Well, why don't we do that now? One thing that I always did when I was in school is I took music classes from a young age, and I played in the band. How many of you played in the band? If you did, why don't you comment with what instrument you play in the band? Hutch played saxophone growing up through school all the way until high school. And I really wanted to play like drums. I always like to drum things. And I'm always tapping my legs like I'm a drummer, but I've never played drums. But I also really liked guitar. So in high school, I saved up my money, I worked hard, and I went out and bought a guitar and an amplifier. So I like to play guitar. And I still play a lot of electric guitar. So I thought I'd share my hobby with you here. And I did bring my guitar. Chase says, oh, Isaac 7 loves hockey, watching movies and doing Legos. Oh, Pokemon, catching Pokemon and Pokemon Go. And Sam plays the cello. Awesome, Sam. That's really cool because you're learning something that you can use your whole life. You can go back to that cello or maybe even any other instrument that you choose and learn a new instrument or learn that cello and play it, grab it, and do some fun stuff anytime. Chase 10 plays the saxophone just like Hutch did. So don't worry, I didn't disappear on you, but I did bring my guitar. Now, when I got to learning guitar back in the day, and this is a neat guitar I got at a local guitar store here, and it's a fun one, and I like to play a lot of music that I listened to when I was growing up in high school. So I like to play a lot of rock and roll music or whatnot. So I grab my guitar sometimes early in the morning before I come to work or sometimes after work, and I just play a little bit. So I thought I'd play just a little bit for you because this isn't the Hutch's concert series. This is Hutch's weather class. But hobbies are cool. And I don't know if you can see there. Yeah. Violin. Jenny plays violin. Okay. There's a couple of you that said you played the violin. That's really cool. So Hutch likes that crunchy sound. I should turn this camera down. I'm going to turn this camera down so you can see down here just a little bit. But one thing that's really kind of fun with guitars is the kinds of sounds that you can make with it. So you can make a lot of very nice sounding melodies or chords. Okay? Or you can make crunchy sounds. can make squeaky sounds. And you can play slow. Or you can play fast. And this thing down here is kind of fun. It's a whammy bar. So, lots of fun. And that's it. Hutch's concert series is now over. So, I would absolutely love it if you guys shared with me hobbies that you do. What do you do with your time? What do you like to do with your time? And it's worth it to spend time doing hobbies, learning things that you enjoy, because you can do them your whole life. Some other hobbies that Hutch has. Sorry, I had to put the guitar away. Put the fiddle away. Some other hobbies Hutch enjoys. I like working with tools. I have a lot of tools. I was an auto mechanic through college. Did all kinds of work on cars, taking engines out, doing all kinds of fun stuff. And that's why I really enjoy working on cars today. I still do a little bit of that work on my own in my garage from time to time. So I like cars. I like tinkering with those and tools and working with things at home. So I love doing that. Josh says he writes. Writing is very cool and does woodworking. That's awesome. Joyce, thanks for the compliment. I play what I like to play, when I like to play it, and it's so relaxing. It's so fun, and I really love doing that. Pet pigeons. Awesome. Spending time with pets, too, is also a great way to spend your time. So post below, and when we're all done with class here today, and I'm going to cut this off in about a half hour, so at about 2:30. Then I want you to take a moment, take a picture of your hobby, of what you do, and come back and find this and then post that picture on there. Or you can upload it. Go to valleynewslive.com, our website, and on our website you'll see a photo upload section on the right-hand side. And that's where all of our viewers share pictures that we share with you on the news at night. So let me just make sure I've gone through most of the material that I wanted to for today. Also, if you guys have any questions about hobbies, if you have any questions about some of our prior classes, you can leave those here. And as you know, I've tried to do my best to get those around. How about we take a tour of the studio real quick here? So, Caleb likes playing football and Legos. Good to do that. You are in the studio of Valley News Live here. I'll try to keep this fairly steady. I'm walking around with my camera. And I'm going to do a U-turn here, and you're going to see Hutch's office. Hutch and the weather team work in the studio, okay? We keep all of our equipment, all of our weather computers. This 2 computers you see right here that I'm using for the little broadcast today on my phone. By golly, these are graphics computers that we use for the news and the weather right there. We've got a data computer over here, and then this whole back row, sorry if I'm making you dizzy, whole back row full of computers that do all kinds of different things. They store weather information on them. They crawl breaking weather when it happens on the bottom of your screen. We have a joystick over here, and Hutch doesn't have video games, but we have on the back wall our Skycam, and I can use the joystick here, and you see how I'm moving the Skycam and pointing down? Let's go look at downtown Fargo. Isn't that cool? So there's Fargo, and there's downtown. I'll zoom in on downtown. Okay, and my hand is really shaky because I should be using a tripod for this, but there it is. There's downtown Fargo. So we can zoom in, okay? And again, this is the weather part of the studio. So this is where I work. This is my office, and it's very quiet in here most of the day, right? There's not people in here broadcasting all day long, but when it gets close to the newscast time, it gets a little busier. This might be a familiar area you're used to seeing, okay? That's called the weather set, where it says First Alert Storm Team, and that's our gang. That's my group. Okay, here is the news desk, and this might look familiar to you, but our news anchors sit here and deliver the news. Shayna likes art, painting, and coloring. That's awesome. I was never very good at art, but then I realized that art is more than about being good. I cannot draw things like I'd like to. Over here, we have what we call the plasma screen. No, this is a 4-panel. It's a huge 4 huge TVs that are next to each other. and you'll see our sports anchors do sports from there. Okay, that was Nathan. Nathan, say hi.
Hi.
All right.
Happy Monday Fun Day.
Yeah, it's Monday Fun Day. Yeah, so we got our 4-panel here in the studio, and anchors will stand in front of that, and they will also deliver some news, sports, or information, and you'll basically be able to have video playing behind them. Nathan, thank you, Nathan, just turned on the lights for me. So we got these really cool lights here that are in the studio, and we can change the colors. So if you watch different shows, you might see different colors pop up. Okay, kind of cool, right? And of course, Valley News Live is your home of the Bison, right? Go Bison. All right, we can make them green for Bison stuff, right? We do a lot of show. Our sports team is the best. All right, we got the area here. Ooh, there's the green lights. All right, this area here you might see oftentimes in our morning show, the Valley Today. We also have Chris Berg's show, and we use this plasma set right here. We'll wheel out a little interview desk in front of it, and that's it. That's another part of our studio. We have cameras, and somebody said cameras are cool. Here they are. We got 3 studio cameras. Nathan hiding back there. Hey, Nathan. We're social distancing at work, too, so we don't have nearly as many people in our building. There's 3 studio cameras in here. We've got one up on the roof in the studio and different ones positioned around. But this is the weather wall. And if you were a weather kid, you've seen the weather wall and you've actually stood in front of it. It's a big green screen, okay? And this camera here takes a picture of Hutch standing in front of the big green screen, okay? And the signal goes from this camera through the camera cables that you see here. They go on the floor, and they travel all the way to our control room. And in the control room, they're going to take this signal, picture of Hutch standing in front of the green wall, and they're going to mix it with whatever's coming from my weather computer right there. And that weather computer might have a graphic up on it. And then we can put that graphic on the wall behind me wherever it's green. The interesting thing is if you're in the studio, you will never see what's on this green wall. It doesn't show up. It just always stays green. So we have to look at these TV monitors that are next to the wall to see what you're seeing at home. So we're pointing at a blank green screen all the time. So how do we get it to work? That's magic from the control room, Elizabeth. The control room has a big video switcher, and the big video switcher can basically take that signal, okay, and it, hide, Nathan, hide. Yeah. It can take that signal from this weather computer here, okay, and it mixes it with camera 3's shot, and it puts whatever's on my weather computer. Right now it's a picture of Hutch, so we'll select this graphic of temperatures, and it would take this output, this temperature graphic, and it put it on the big green screen. The computer removes all the green and replaces it with any background video, and that's right. So that's how the magic of the studio works a little bit. I hope that you've learned some of that. It's not too technical. I'm not trying to get too technical today. Let's see, I'm kind of blurry there. Sorry about that. There we go. Essentially, it's a really, really fun job. And another thing that I think is really cool is that most kids that come in here to be weather kids pick up how to point at the weather wall in about 10 minutes. We have about 10-15 minutes to practice here before we go on to the air with them. And I'll tell you what, most of you kids that sign up to be weather kids do a fantastic job of that. So, oh yeah, don't wear a green shirt. Josh says, don't wear a green shirt. I had to get rid of all my suits that were green like the wall. I had like 3 or 4 of them. Right, Nathan? Now, the wall used to be blue. When Hutch first moved to Fargo, it was a blue wall. And I have a lot of blue shirts. I have a lot of blue suits. So I asked them, and they lovingly obliged, and they painted it bright green because I don't have many bright green suits. So you guys have been fantastic. I cannot wait to go and see your pictures. So your homework is, as we shut this thing down, to get pictures if you like art or Legos or something, to take pictures of you doing what it is that you enjoy doing, your hobby. Hutch showed you his, playing guitar. I want to see yours. Go ahead and share those pictures here or upload them on Valley News Live's website, valleynewslive.com. And if you upload them there, I might share 1 or 2 of them on the news tonight, okay? Tomorrow, tomorrow is Tuesday, right? And Tuesday is tornadoes. That's what we're talking about. That Rich says summer events like demolition derbies, tractor pulls. Okay. Ooh, and a certified tornado chaser, Rich is. That's awesome. So you've taken some safety classes on how to do that. So speaking of tornadoes, here is a sneak peek at tomorrow's topic right here. Tuesday, let's learn about tornadoes. So we're going to get started with some very basic stuff about tornadoes. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk tornadoes on Tuesday. Notice there's no schedule for Wednesday, Thursday, or the rest of the week at this point, because I don't think any of us really know how your distance learning is going to take place and how much time is going to be required, and if you can even join me for classes. So we'll reassess this week and we'll come up with an idea for maybe having a class or two a week. We'll see. But I love your feedback, and any feedback you give me is helpful in making those determinations. So again, like this, make sure that you tag a friend who you think might enjoy the class. So tag them here below, and would love to see them joining us for class tomorrow on tornadoes. I think there'll be a lot of people interested in that. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and hit that like button, and I really appreciate you stopping by today. And hey, I really appreciate you guys liking my page as well, Valley News Live's page, a Facebook page. Give it a like or a follow, and Hutch's page, Hutch VNL. Search for me on Facebook. I'd appreciate a like or follow there, and we'll keep the information coming, and I can't wait to see your hobbies. So that's it for today. You'll have a wonderful day, and hey, get out and enjoy a little bit of this 50+ degree weather here in Fargo. Take yourself for a walk, or maybe go visit the pigeons, walk the dog or the cat. Hey, thanks for the the pat on the back, Rich. I appreciate your comments very, very much. I appreciate, Carolyn, your comment as well. I'm glad your daughter and yourself are enjoying the class. Very, very good. Rashima used to drive my 18-wheeler through it. Is that through North Dakota? All right. Weather class is fun. Nathan, I'm really glad that you're joining us. Thanks so much, and thanks, Pamela, for the kind words. And if you guys have ideas for future classes, keep those coming. Remember, I can't teach everything that there is to teach about tornadoes in one 30-minute session, so we could have multiple classes on tornadoes. You guys asked a bunch of great questions about pressure. I think I could do another class just on pressure and keep it pretty interesting and whatnot. So thank you very much. Y'all stay well, and we will talk to you again tomorrow for Tornado Tuesday.